Vladimir Kara-Murza is a true patriot, the champion not of a political party or a leader, but of freedom. Someone whose loyalties lie not with the regime, but with his country and his fellow citizens. Tonight, we send the Kremlin a very clear message. Vladimir and his fellow political prisoners aren't alone. The free world stands by champions of democracy and their fundamental rights. We honor the bravery and selflessness of those who stand up to tyranny, not for personal victory or for glory, but for love of country and humanity. In 2014, while reporting for the Washington Post in Tehran, I was arrested, fabricated espionage charges. I spent 544 days in prison there. That experience challenged me in so many ways. But I can tell you this, knowing that you haven't been forgotten, that there are people in the free world who care about you, who are fighting for you, it's like oxygen. It gives you hope to keep going. While it saddens me deeply that Vladimir can't be with us tonight to feel the support and the admiration of this room, but I know that Evgenia will make sure he feels that support. She's been a tireless advocate for her husband's release, and she's a lifeline, his lifeline, to the free world. Vladimir is so incredibly lucky to have you in his corner, Evgenia. You are not alone. All of us here tonight are with you for as long as it takes. Please join me in welcoming Evgenia Kara-Murza, who will accept this year's Freedom Award on behalf of her husband, Vladimir.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, thank you very much for this kind introduction. This is indeed a great honor for me to be here tonight to receive this prestigious award on behalf of my husband, Vladimir Kara-Murza. As you can imagine, I would rather he did it himself. And now we're sitting out there with you in the audience, listening to my brilliant husband, making yet another brilliant speech. But I am so grateful that I can continue being his voice now that the Russian regime is going to great lengths to silence anyone who dares oppose the official narrative. Sometime around 400 BC, Greek philosopher Thucydides wrote, "The secret to freedom is courage." A simple truth that still holds today. But what exactly is courage? What makes a person courageous? Is it courage that makes Vladimir refuse to back down and abandon his fight for a better future for our country, despite 2 assassination attempts by a team of FSB operatives, the same team of assassins in the service of the Russian state that poisoned another well-known Russian opposition politician, Alexei Navalny, with Novichok? Is it courage that made him go back to Russia to stand with those Russians who yet again bravely faced Putin's monstrous regime after it had launched a full-scale war of aggression against our closest neighbor, killing tens of thousands and displacing millions. Some think it is stubbornness. Others call it recklessness. Others believe it to be patriotism. In an interview with Vladimir for his documentary about Soviet dissidents, titled "They Chose Freedom," a well-known Soviet poet and dissident, Natalia Gorbanevskaya, who was also one of the 7 people who went to protest to the Red Square against the Soviet invasion of Czechoslovakia in 1968, said that her protest was a selfish act. She wanted to have a clear conscience. I also think about another amazingly strong lady, Tatiana Filgengauer, deputy editor of the legendary Echo of Moscow radio station that first went on air in August 1990 and was closed down on March the 3rd of last year by the Russian authorities when it took its last brave stand together with 2 other prominent Russian media outlets, TV Dozhd and Novaya Gazeta. In October 2017, a knife-wielding man broke into the studio of the radio station in downtown Moscow and stabbed Tatiana in the throat. Just like my husband, she was lucky enough to survive. She went through a complicated surgery and was put into an induced coma. She has since been carrying a scar on her throat as a reminder of the price of telling the truth in a state built on lies. You know what she did when she'd been released from that hospital? She went back to work. Courage comes in all shapes and forms, and people's fight for freedom goes back thousands of years. You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. These words of Eleanor Roosevelt, an inspiring leader and a co-founder of Freedom House, have always resonated with me. The things dictatorships of the world are most afraid of are the truth and that inner freedom that makes people stand up to the worst monsters, that refusal to be intimidated, to be scared into silence. Time and again throughout history, dictators have underestimated that power of moral courage in the face of an all-powerful state. That courage that has time and again proven to be stronger than military might. As Vladimir would say, the night is darkest before the dawn. I fully share my husband's contagious belief that we will prevail and Russia will be free, because we are Russians too, and we refuse to be afraid. Thank you very much.